Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. And tonight I'm going to be making a standalone video for a portion of my live that I talked about days ago. So if you guys were on my live, I did an update about Naziah Harris. And in my update about Naziah Harris, I also talked about a Detroit cop who was arrested after he was messaging his girlfriend's daughter. Now, I went over this in great detail on my channel, but it was later on in the live of my Naziah Harris video, and I want this to be its own video, so let's get to it. And then once she found out that Naziah was missing, she designated to be the spokesperson to give awareness and speak on Naziah's behalf. But she's related. Okay? That's her stats. Moving on. So let's go on to the next story that we're going to be talking about. So the next story that we're going to be talking about, like I said, is a father out of Detroit. Now, this father right here sprung into action when he saw messages on his daughter's phone. All right, so let's move on. Let's switch gears. I'll probably separate this and make it its own video. So let's get into it. All right. So let's talk about this story right here. This is a father out of Detroit. His daughter is basically similar circumstance of Naziah. Now, not that it went all the way, but it was headed in a similar direction before the father intervened. Now, this father decided and went through his daughter's phone, and when he went through his daughter's cell phone, and his daughter also alerted him of her mother's boyfriend texting her, the father took the messages to the authorities and got the baby mama boyfriend arrested. Now, in the messages, he revealed them on social media, and it talked about how the boyfriend was trying to write her and try to make her feel mature. He told her that she's free to cuss around him, that, you know, he wouldn't share the things that she told him to her people, and so much more. So let me pull up the post that the father shared to social media that in turn got the the boyfriend of his baby mama arrested. All right. So then we're going to go to the news to bring you guys up to speed on what the news had to say about it. So let me pull it up. So his name is Brandon Harris, and this is his post right here. So he took to social media and he said the following: "Y'all see what this looked like? Tell me what it looked like to you. But I've been holding this in for about a week and some change, but I can't no more. It's been on my mind real heavy. I took the proper precautions, went to the police and everything. It's a waiting game, and it only seems like when you put things on the internet, that's when things get handled. But this man thought it would be okay to text my 12-year-old daughter at 2 in the morning on this type of time. And the craziest part about it is he's your Detroit's finest. He's a police officer, which he swore oath to protect and serve. But he's not standing on that. His name is Earl. This is my child's mother's boyfriend. I don't do this internet stuff at all. But what's wrong is wrong, and he knows better. Well, I thought so. My daughter not knowing what type of time he was on, so that's why she was texting back thinking he was being normal. But she feels something was very off, so she sent messages to her auntie, which I am proud, very proud of my daughter for even knowing something wasn't right. I assure her every day moving forward she did the right thing, and I'm proud of her. He just don't understand how uncomfortable and unsafe he made my daughter feel. This situation could have been a lot worse. I'm just putting awareness out here because it ain't no telling who he all did this to. Pretty much, he was grooming my daughter, and I don't like that. And then he said, and I'm glad she sees me taking this situation very seriously to ensure her that I'm here for her and I got her back. I have full custody of my daughter, and it's been that way for 4 years. She either just went over her mother's house to get her hair done or stay for the weekend, but she is not allowed around that man ever again. That man does not deserve a badge. Oh, yeah. How mom handling things? Yeah, it's very disgusting. She's defending him so hard. So here are the messages, and we're going to go through some of the messages that he shared with the daughter. All right. So this message right here says, playing game with my friend Ariel. So the guy says, what game y'all playing? She says, Roblox. He says, oh, you should play The Sims free play with me. It's fun. Okay. Then the daddy shared his photo right here. And then the next message says, why you can't date? Why? Wait. Oh, she said, oh, that game never works for me. And then he said, why? You can date, family, party, and more on there. And then she said, glitch. He said, damn. He's telling her on the game she can date, family, party, and more. All right? So the next message, it says, sleep too? She says, oh. He says, you been okay though? Yes. He says, all right, if you want to keep texting, you will have to keep our conversation between me and you on some friendly type stuff. The girl says, my dad goes through my phone. He says, oh, LOL, well, delete these messages. If you figure something out, let me know, Z. We going to take a family trip soon, too. She said, how? He texts her and says, you need a second phone? She said, no, I got an iPad. He said, your iPad is connected to your iPhone, so your message can be seen. Create a new text now number or something, I don't know, but delete these messages and from your trash. Let me know when you create a safe line to text you on, Z. She said, I made a new account on my iPad. So something she said was going on at 12:30. And then he texts her and says, what type of dance? She said, Valentine's dance. He said, you got a date? She said, nope, I'm going with my friends. He says, cool. You can be real with me. I don't care if you curse or be yourself. I won't tell your people. I'm going to treat you like you're grown and you're mature enough. She said, okay. He says, how you feel about that? She says, all right. Then he says, I'm confused. Can your people look into your iPad? She says, what you mean? He says, can your people see your message on your iPad? And then she says, what people? He says, your dad, grandma, question mark? She says, my dad goes through every one of my devices. He says, oh, If you find a safe way for us to text, let me know. But make sure you delete all these text messages, even in your message trash. Nice talking to you, though, Z. So this is the other message where she was basically saying that she couldn't play The Sims and there was a glitch. And he said, damn, I was hoping you stayed another day. Why you leave? She said, had to for school. Then he says, wow. He says, wow, are you okay with me texting you this late? She says, sure, I guess. So then he says, oh, well, you looked good. And then she texts and says, is my mama up? He says, she's knocked out. She says, oh, where's Amaya? Sleep too. Oh, you been okay though? Yes. And then she says, all right, if you want to keep texting, you will have to keep our conversation between me and you on some friendly type stuff. Okay. So these are the messages that the father shared to social media. Now, again, he is a Detroit police officer. And after the father took these messages to the authorities and they took this up to the police station, he was arrested. Now, this is the news speaking about the father springing into action and getting him arrested, and his department wanting his mugshot plastered everywhere. So in this news piece, they say that, hey, normally we don't share mugshots, but we want his mugshot posted. His fellow police officers say that they would like his mugshot posted as many places as possible to see if there was any other victims. Let's play the report.
But we begin tonight with a Detroit police officer charged after an alert dad took action to stop a man he says was trying to prey on his 12-year-old daughter. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Simon Shayket. The girl's father gave investigators what's been described as sexually explicit text messages.
But we begin tonight with a
Oh, dang, I didn't mean to start it over. Make sure you hit the like button if you have not already. If you guys have not hit the like button, hit the like button. If you want to contribute to the show and you like my coverage on these topics, anytime it's involving a minor, a lot of times they say, we ain't, YouTube don't get behind these type of conversations. These type of conversations are very, very necessary because as parents, we need to be proactive. And sometimes as parents, you need a reminder, you know what? Let me go through my child phone. Let me look up into the Text Now app and let me look into these different applications and everything like that. Now, there are also other messaging apps that us as parents have to be up to speed on. Now, I was recently, and I'm going to play this in a second for y'all, but I was recently watching the Monica Simontelli trial. I'm not sure if you guys know about that trial, but it's a very interesting trial. And it's a trial out of California. And while I was covering the ASAP Rocky trial, the Monica Simontelli trial was the very next door court case, okay? Since I have been home and the ASAP Rocky trial isn't going on, I've been peeping the Monica Simontelli trial, but from my home. Now, I found out through her trial that there is an app called Viber. And on this app, the prosecution in the Monica Simontelli case, they're alleging that this particular app has end-to-end encryption. Now, they are alleging in that case that Monica Cementelli and the guy that she was dating were setting up her husband's unaliving through this app called Viber. Now, they brung the records from Viber, but they could not show what the messages entailed. So in the court system, they could not crack into this app called Viber, and all of the messages are concealed. But they can show times that the messages were sent, but they cannot crack what was said. So there's all of these apps that us as parents have to be up to speed about. I was watching that case. I'm like, Viber, they can't get into the messages. And then I looked it up, and they advertise their app as an app that nobody can crack into, end-to-end encryption and all of that. And then here the police are on this trial, and they can't get into this app. So I say that to say, get up to speed on these apps. Notice when you're going through your kids' phones, these different apps, what they are, what Text Now is, what Viber is, Snapchat, all of these things that your children can be communicating with people, and the messages going away and things like that. Like, notice these icons to be on alert. Okay, so I just say that to give y'all awareness. Yeah, definitely, and check out the Monica Cementelli case. It's when it's the officer that was testifying about Viber. He testified yesterday and the day before. So look up those testimonies, because it blew my head back. I'm like, Viber? What? It's crazy. And then on the YSL case, I learned that if you FaceTime somebody, they can't record the call. It's a whole lot that us as parents, we got to be very up to speed. But let me play this.
Detroit police officer charged after an alert dad took action to stop a man he says was trying to prey on his 12-year-old daughter. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. For 7 News Detroit at 6, I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Simon Shayket. The girl's father gave investigators what's been described as sexually explicit text messages.
Police in Warren are leading the investigation and have released the suspect's mugshot because they are trying to determine if there are any other victims out there.
7 News Detroit reporter Randy Wimbley has more details on the felony charge the officer is now facing, as well as fallout from within his own department.
A Detroit cop is behind bars tonight, accused of accosting a 12-year-old girl. That officer romantically involved with the victim's mother. Now Officer Earl Anderson could lose his badge and his freedom. He was charged with accosting a child for immoral purposes, a 4-year felony on Tuesday, after allegedly sending several improper text messages to his girlfriend's daughter. 7 News Detroit does not typically broadcast booking photos, but police are investigating the possibility there may be more victims.
The messages that are observed between Mr. Anderson and this 12-year-old child are inappropriate. They are sexualized in nature.
Warren Police Detective John Tallow says the investigation began in February with the victim's father discovering and coming forward with the text messages. Anderson's neighbors are stunned.
It's scary because I have 2 daughters that live next door.
I got me a 14-year-old. I couldn't believe it. I don't know what I would do if I would find out something like that.
We want the community to know, to have your parents, to make sure the parents are monitoring, okay? Make sure that they're looking at their children's social media accounts, text messages, internet searches. These areas are where people like this tend to try to prey on children to gain access to them.
Warren Police says its investigation is not over. DPD is conducting an internal affairs investigation.
Once we learned that the charges were issued yesterday, we immediately suspended him.
Detroit Police Chief Todd Bettison will recommend the Board of Police Commissioners suspend the 2-year veteran without pay. Anderson could also lose his badge.
We have a very high standard of conduct.
Could? Why he ain't automatically losing his badge? What you mean he could lose his badge? he could possibly lose his badge. Could, as in maybe? As in might?
And he, from what I've read in these messages, has tarnished our appearance. And he in no way represents the vast majority of Detroit police.
Anyone with information about the case or others involving Anderson is asked to call Warren PD. Earl Anderson is locked up on a $200,000 cash bond. If he gets out, he'll have to wear a GPS tether. He cannot have any contact with the victim or anyone under the age of 17 for that matter. He's due back in court in 2 weeks.
All right. Let's see this news report.
Make sure you delete all these text messages. That was the instruction a Detroit police officer is suspected of sending to a 12-year-old girl. That text and others is leading to his arrest and suspension by the Detroit Police Department. You might remember last night at 11, we reported the DPD suspended Officer Earl Raynard Anderson Jr. from his duty.
Warren investigators say he, quote unquote, preyed on a 12-year-old by sending her and inappropriate text messages. The victim, deputies say she's the daughter of his new wife. Local 4's Shantae Passmore spoke to.
They say wife, other news reports say girlfriend. But either way, he has access to the mama. He's dating the mother, but trying to get and groom her daughter. Now, a lot of y'all got to understand when you have daughters, you have to have extra alert because sometimes you might think, ooh, I got a man that's into me when he really just trying to get close enough to you to get close to your child. You with the mama, but texting the daughter. How did he even get the daughter number?
To investigators about the case, Shantae, what led to his arrest?
You know, this all unfolded when that 12-year-old victim came forward. After texting back and forth, she told someone about that exchange. Then when her father found out about it, he did what any parent would do to protect their child.
Tonight, Detroit officer Earl Raynard Anderson Jr. faces one count of accosting a child for immoral purposes.
It's very disturbing. This is an individual who took an oath to protect the community. And instead of protecting the community, made a decision to prey on a 12-year-old.
That 12-year-old, detectives say his new wife's daughter. The Macomb County Prosecutor's Office tells Local 4 the alleged crime happened in Warren on February 22nd when the Detroit officer reportedly sent inappropriate text messages to the victim. Timestamps show the conversation started just before 2:30 a.m., lasting more than an hour. The text shows how he asked to keep their conversation private before the girl responds with how her dad goes through her phone. Then he tells her to delete their messages, writing they'll go on a family trip soon. Later, he asks if she needed a second phone before explaining how her iPad is connected to her iPhone. Again, he tells her, make sure to delete their messages, even the ones in trash. We asked our crime and safety expert, how soon should parents talk about the dangers of smart devices and online safety?
5 and even earlier.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, just saying that there are people that aren't necessarily good people, and making sure that your young person understands that, you know, sometimes grown-ups don't always do the right thing.
Meanwhile, Warren police are praising the girl for telling an adult about the interaction.
We can't tell her enough how proud we are of her and her family for coming to us with this issue.
All right. Now, the father, he shared further post about his daughter. So he shared this message as well. And he said, look how hurt my baby is. And he shared another message thread from his daughter as well. So let me move this over. If you guys want to go to his social media, that's his name right there, Brandon Harris. He'll pop up. All right, so on this message right here, let me make it a little bit bigger. he said, look how hurt my baby is. And then she says, can you tell my mama I'm disappointed in her life, so real life? And then he says, what made you feel that way? She says, because I was just thinking now it's life. She's still picking him because she's still over there. Dee Dee said she can have her whole house. So disappointed. Yeah, I know I'm disappointed in your mom too. The little girl says, everybody is. She used to be fighting over us. The father says, it will be okay. Earl gonna get exactly what he deserves. The little girl says, now it's like I'ma just push it to the side. And the father says, you got me. That's all that matters. It will be okay. I love you. And then the daughter says, I love you too. And he almost shared her iCloud. All right. So then the father also posted up a post, and he said that the mother of the child is upset with him for bringing this situation to the authorities. So he posted and he says, yeah, I ain't gonna let Ish, I think he meant, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, Ish effed up my day. HE double hockey sticks, nah. Stupid B gonna text me talking about why I blow all this up when he had nothing but good intentions. B, is you cool? He said another word, but is you cool? So the mother is sticking beside her man and choosing her man over her daughter's safety. And we've seen this theme happen with Neziah. See a man cross a boundary that should not have been crossed, and the mama is so desperate and thirsty to have a man that they would neglect the protection of their child to have that man. Now, I don't know what type of D that y'all be getting that cause y'all to be dizzy, stupid, silly, dumb, goofy, just that y'all will choose to lay up with a man over protecting your seed. I don't even care if I get a feeling that you looked at my child a way you shouldn't have looked at her. Nigga, you're gone. Y'all need dick that bad? Y'all that scared to be lonely? That you willing to lay up beside a nigga that's texting your daughter at 2 a.m. talking about delete these messages? Just you crazy? I wish I would see a man that I looked up in his face and entertained, and he text my child to delete messages, and he gonna treat her like she's mature, telling her that she could date on the game. Cause them same messages where he telling her, I'ma let you curse, he then gonna slide closer and show her, it's okay, let me teach you how to kiss. Let me teach you how to suck. Let me teach you how to, y'all get my drift. It start with the, you're mature, you can curse. You can tell me about the boys you like. You can tell me if you did stuff with boys. It starts there, you dizzy. Talking about he had good intentions. What intentions? Wait until you sleep to text your child. He got messages texting your daughter talking about, is your mama asleep and all that. Now, I know that bills are high, okay? Because I be looking at my bills like, I wouldn't mind going half on these bills. But I damn if I ever compromise the safety of my child to have any man in my face. And it sucks because this is a guy on the surface that you would think, okay, you know, he had to go through a vetting process to be a police officer. He had to go through a background check to be a police officer. And you would think that this type of guy, who is a person that children look at as a safe haven, wouldn't be the one that's trying to creep with your child. But y'all be so quick to try to get another daddy. I don't know what the relationship was with her and this father. And it sounds like there's another child in the mix because she's asking about another kid that was there. So it's like, would y'all be like, oh, I gotta get a daddy for the kid? Like what? It's crazy. Now, me, I'm an only child, so I'm not one of those type of people who I'm like pressed to have like a lot of people around me. I'm not pressed to have like a man. Now, I'm not saying I don't like men and don't like a little pressure now, but I'm not pressed to have it to the fact of me ignoring certain signs. Like, there's too many apps available nowadays. There's too much information. Now, before time, you know, maybe certain signs and flags you probably didn't know to look for. But now in 2025, there's so many things that can trigger red flags nowadays because we have so much information now that you got to use your discernment, okay? And I'm not saying that all the time you're going to, you know what I'm saying, because sometimes people are wolves in sheep clothing. And some people do slip be through the cracks. And not saying that if something happened that you just, you know what I mean? Because there are some people that can fool you. But once you are aware and you know, you spring into action and you cut it off immediately. Step behind your babies regardless. Period. Okay? So I just wanted to talk about those stories for y'all, give y'all an update on Naziah Harris, give y'all an update on this story as well, and talk about the certain things that I have been seeing. It's crazy out here, and it got me like, girl, do we wait till the daughter is 18 to date? Shoot, it's got me thinking and considering waiting till my daughter 18. Because it's too much. Team too much. Yeah. Abundance Clarity says, listen to your intuition and don't be naive. Love Angel said, that's why I never let my daughter go anywhere